Story 1. Original post. Am I the a-hole here for telling my wife to go no contact with her family after they invited her abusive ex on her birthday? I am 25, and my wife is 27. Actually, she isn't my wife yet. We will get married in May, so I will call her my wife because we both already consider each other as husband and wife, even though we aren't officially yet. I have been dating my wife since past 2 years, and my wife is kinda emotionally fragile. She is traumatized a bit. She told me early on that her ex has been verbally abusive and was rough on her. Even when we were dating, she was hesitant, and during sex, she would ask me to go slow. We are comfortable now, but on her birthday, which was 24 days ago, my soon-to-be mother-in-law and brother-in-law invited her ex on her birthday. And in my home, I was pissed, because I knew what he did to my wife. My wife immediately grabbed my hand when she saw him, and she was scared. I asked him to get out, and my wife's family started convincing me, but I didn't listen, and I kicked them all out. My wife is hurt even after almost a month, and I did my best to help her. We both decided to not invite them in our wedding and cut them off. But they are saying through texts that I am going too far and manipulating her, and they want to reconcile with my wife, and I am keeping her away from her family. I asked my wife, and she said she wants to stay away from them for now, and wants to celebrate this year being officially married to me, and she hates them for inviting her ex on her birthday. Me and my wife has no problem with our decision. We are couples. We make our decisions together. But I am not feeling good about splitting my wife from her family, and they are saying that I am manipulating her and send me texts about how evil I am. I tried to tell them that I just want to do what's best for my wife, but again, they repeat the same crap. Now for the comments. In the end, it's her decision no matter what anyone thinks or says, even if you do decide things as a couple, even if they want back in her life. You checked with her, she doesn't want to be around them, you supported her in what she chose, not the a-hole. Also, F those people. Yeah, sounds like he did everything according to best practices how to handle these situations. Didn't see a flaw? The reasoning behind the invitation might shed some light and could be helpful information moving forward, but isn't necessary. Also, kick those people. The facts they invited through X is problematic to begin with and to your house without your permission. You did good on kicking him out and them too for not understanding how messed up, disrespectful that was. You did right by letting her decide how she wants to proceed with them and making sure no further disrespectful stuff is said. Tried. Yeah, like inviting her ex was beyond disrespectful, especially knowing her history with him. Kicking them out and letting her take the lead on how to handle it was the right move. Supporting her boundaries is what matters most. Do a courthouse wedding, save the money for your life, a house, you'll be happy you did. Good luck. Not the a-hole. You were protecting your wife from a traumatic situation, and that's not manipulation. It's standing up for her well-being. Her family clearly doesn't respect her boundaries, and inviting her abusive ex to her birthday is a huge violation. It's understandable that she would want to distance herself from them, especially considering the emotional trauma. Your priority should be supporting her, and it sounds like you're doing that. You're not splitting her from her family is showing no respect for her feelings, and she's making the choice to distance herself. You were right to kick them all out. Well done. Your wife should be proud of you. You've shown you're a real man and a loving and protective husband. I would ignore the family members who thought so little of your wife and were so insensitive as to invite her ex to her birthday. They've shown their true colors and deserve no respect. That they can't see what they did was so wrong is even worse. I'm glad your wife wants to put some distance between them. Dude, you are the GOAT. You stood by her side when her family threw her under the bus for the ex. You threw them all out and supported her in going no contact. You are the hero that we wish would be in all these toxic family stories. Thank you for being in her corner, and I wish many blessings on your wedding. Update. TLDR of my previous post, my wife's family invited her abusive ex on her birthday, and she already was traumatized, and she got even more traumatized after she saw her ex. So we decided to cut them off, but they kept sending me texts that we shouldn't cut them off. We aren't married yet, but consider each other as husband and wife, and my priority is definitely my woman. After we both decided to cut her family off, my soon-to-be mother-in-law showed up at my place today, and she said that I am manipulating my wife, and she just wants to have a good relationship with her future son-in-law and her daughter. But I am being unreasonable. I asked her if she loves her daughter so much, why did they bring her abusive ex in our home? Did she expect us to just go through with it? My mother-in-law apologized and said that ex is family as well, and they wanted to involve him and he wanted to apologize, but I kicked them out, and she wants to be in her daughter's life and her grandchildren's life, and she will never bring her ex in front of my wife, and even willing to cut him off. I asked her if she's so important, why would you bring your daughter's abuser in her home and on her birthday? You cause so much pain to her, and she doesn't want to talk to you right now. And what man hurts a woman as sweet and kind as her? She was abused, and she is still scared. And now not only her partner betrayed her, even her family betrayed her. I asked her to leave and told her that I will talk to my wife, and we will get back to her. After she left, I told my wife everything, and she was shocked. But she said, if her mother is sorry and promising us that ex won't get involved in our life, she is okay with it. I told her that we should wait, and after what they have done, we don't know if they manipulating us or are genuine with their intentions. My wife agreed. She's still angry and sad, but I am helping her as much as I can to uplift her mood. But I don't know if my wife should be in their life. I can't tell her what to do. But as her man, I feel like I should protect her after what they did. And we trust and communicate with each other. And we don't do something unless we both agree on it. So I am wondering what I should do. Now for the comments. What I don't understand is how your mother-in-law can consider a man who abused and mentally scarred her daughter family. If somebody did crap like that to my daughter, I don't have kids, so I am talking hypothetical. I don't know if they would ever find his body. But I sure as fuff wouldn't consider him family. That's because you love your daughter. OP is going to find out come next event that mother-in-law does not. Makes no logical sense, right? I was in an abusive relationship for years and hid it from family. When I ended it, I gave minor reasons why, but not a full novel of all the crap. My mother's husband was still singing his praises and didn't understand why I'd let a man like him go during a family Christmas party. I went off on him in front of my family and walked away. And now, this has been going on for decades. My great aunt is buddy-buddy, lovey-lovey with her daughter and grandkids' abusive ex-husband, father, claiming he's the son she never had, and he treats me so good. Full well knowing the extent of the abuse her daughter and grandkids went through at his hands. People are effing nuts sometimes. Yeah, my sister-in-law was in an emotionally, financially abusive marriage. The guy had and lived the classic narcissistic lifestyle, lying, bemoaning their financial situation, taking money already earmarked for bills, just about anything and everything he could think of. Kept her on a string by threatening to take their older son, living with Downs, and never being found. All of us, in-laws, knew and helped financially and emotionally. It was a long 32-ish years, but it's finally over. The irritating part was how, for years, she made excuses for his behavior. The only thing I can say is, if your wife is willing, then go ahead, but take it slow. Make her parents earn her trust again, though their actions, and not just their words. But also make it clear to them that there will not be another chance if they mess this one up. I wish you both the best. I think Op's wife should see a therapist first before moving forward with her family again. Yes, therapy is a good option. Taking things slowly allows them to prove they've learned from their mistakes and are committed to respecting him and his boundaries moving forward. Yes, I don't want her to go back to them and pretend as if everything is normal. But I also don't want to tell her what to do. It takes a lot of efforts from me to cheer her up, and I don't want to come off to her as a controlling or abusive partner. So I will let her think and agreed with her decision and do what she wants. I am her man, not her owner, to tell her what she can and can't do. I can only advise her, and I pray she makes the right choice for herself. If she wants to have a good relationship with her parents, and they stand true to their words, it's all right, but they hurt her and create problems for her and me, and I am left to help her. And even I don't have a clue why they are behaving the way they are. He is family, but my wife isn't? And why would he do something that will hurt her? She's so kind, helpful, and dedicated towards her partner. I can't do anything else but to obey her cause she's so thoughtful and tried her best to please everyone. I can't make sense of her family's and her ex's behavior. That's the right way to look at this, mate. It's her call to make. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for allowing my BL to be thrown out of my house on Christmas after he insulted my brother who has Down syndrome? My hubby, male 40, and I, female 35, have been together 10 years, married for 5. We bought a fixer-upper 2 years ago and finally completed upgrades and repairs just in time to host Christmas. Both sides of the family came. My parents, my brother Frank, male 30, and his girlfriend, now fiancé, Lila, female 29, and my hubby's parents and his brother, Todd, male 32. Since it's relevant, I'll mention that my brother Frank has Down syndrome. He also graduated from high school and college. He has his bachelor in early childhood education. He also has his own apartment and his own car. He works full-time as a preschool teacher, and his job loves him. I have freaking amazing parents, and when Frankie was born, their attitude was, "You'll do as much as you're encouraged to do," and we all invested heavily in helping Frank be all he can be, which is a lot. I never felt left out or forgotten by my folks, by the way. They worked really hard to make sure we both had a great childhood. My hubby and Frank are total bros. LOL. Frank was his best man in our wedding, and after being friends with Frankie for a few years, he switched his job as a high school English teacher to a special education teacher. It required some extra schooling, but my dude loves his job so much now, and he's so happy. So obviously Frank is popular in the family. At the party, I knew my hubby and Frank were up to something, because they were whispering a lot and grinning. Right before dessert, Frank stood up and talked about how this year has been the best of his life. He said he wished he could keep his life this way forever. My hubby pipes up with, "If you like it, then you better put a ring on it," and tossed Frank a ring box. He got down on one knee and asked Lila to marry him. She, of course, said heck yes. It was so touching, and honestly, everyone was crying and hugging and so excited. I noticed my brother-in-law Todd wasn't smiling and looked pretty irritated. Todd is single, probably because he enjoys Andrew Tate so much, and he and my hubby have never been close. When we all stopped hugging and sat down, Todd muttered, "Finally," under his breath. Everyone heard it though, because he absolutely meant us to. I asked if there was a problem. He said, and I quote, "I'm not that interested in celebrating two retarded people pretending they can have a real life." I almost caught a charge because I about punched him. Frank just laughed at him and asked, "Still single, huh?" Which made everyone laugh. Todd stepped towards him, and my hubby told him to sit down and shut up. He also told him he's an embarrassment. Todd got mad and told my hubby that the embarrassment was how he pretended that Frank and Lila are actually functioning adults. At that, my hubby stood up, yanked Todd's chair out, and told him to get the hell out of our house. He told him he didn't want to see his face or hear his voice until he sincerely apologized to Frank and Lila. Todd started to refuse to leave, so I got my phone out and told him I was calling the cops to escort him out if he refused to leave on his own. He's been in Dutch with the cops a few times for drunk and disorderlies and assault, so that got him to peel out quick. Hubby's parents were clearly embarrassed by Todd's behavior, and they left a few minutes later, after apologizing to Frank and Lila. We told them they were more than welcome to stay, but they left anyhow. This morning, I woke up to a bunch of texts from Todd, demanding I talk to my hubby and fix this. I told him no, and blocked him. Then my mother-in-law called and asked me to talk to hubby. I was kind about it, but I said no. I told her it's between hubby and Todd, and I respected my husband's feelings. She got upset and said that her family is getting torn apart, and I'm allowing it. I told her again I was sorry, but that Todd is totally responsible for this, and she needed to take it up with him. She hung up crying. I still don't think hubby and I were wrong here at all, but I truly like my mother-in-law, and those tears definitely got to me. But I refuse to let my brother and best friend be abused in my home. Am I the a-hole here? Update. Todd is on Reddit and loves the Am I the A-hole group. He talked about it at Christmas. That's pretty much why I posted this. He's seen this, and my mother-in-law called and asked me to remove it. I said no. She says that this is mean. I told her Todd is meaner, and I'm done. I told her the post stays up, and that I'm never asking hubby to meet with them again. I am the a-hole, I know, for encouraging my hubby to have contact with them, and I've apologized. Frank's opinion on all this is that he hasn't wasted time on bums in the past, and he's not starting now. I apologize to him too, for inviting my idiot brother-in-law in the first place. Lila is as snarky as Frank, and she told me, no cake for him. Lol, she's the best. I'm maid of honor, so I'm working hard to come up with ways to make this proposal nonsense up to her. Someone said this couldn't be true because no one would act like we did after Todd's comment. My response is that you don't know Frank. I think you suspect he's childish and throws fits when he's upset. You couldn't be more wrong. His stated attitude about people like Todd is that he refuses to act stupid just because someone else chooses to. As for everything else, yes, my hubs is the best. I had a ridiculously privileged childhood, and I know that and am grateful. Now for the comments. Huh? Your brother-in-law is a a-hole. Are you the a-hole for letting him get kicked out? No, he's a a-hole. Edit. I've heard the call. Todd is a bum. Your brother-in-law isn't much of a human being, is he? Oh, that's right, he's a bum. Exactly how would you think you the a-hole for doing the right thing? Brother-in-law is the biggest a-hole of century. He should stay far away from you all. I felt a little eye-holy for refusing to help fix it more than anything. But that feeling is fading fast, let me tell you. What does fix it mean, though? It sounds like mother-in-law wants you to throw your brother under the bus and insists that using slurs against him isn't that big a deal. Why do you feel a-holy for supporting your brother? What Todd did was abhorrent, and he owes major apologies, and your brother would be in the right to never forgive him for what he did. Yup, you're completely right. My family is so freaking amazing, and I know how lucky I am for that fact. I guess I keep hoping hubby's family will do better. They'll never get the chance to abuse Frank again, though, because I never want them in my house again. Hubby agrees. My mother-in-law has called twice, begging me to interfere and force a discussion. Her tears break my heart, but Todd is just so crappy. I'm honestly relieved that I might never have to deal with him again. Good on your hubs for standing up to his craphead brother. Mother-in-law has to live with the consequences of how her son turned out. Maybe she ought to reflect on why one son is a human being and the other an a-hole. You, on the other hand, are not the a-hole, and I'm really glad to hear you have such an amazing family. You are not the a-hole. Is your mother-in-law asking Todd to apologize? I can't imagine she has. When he got a domestic violence charge for slapping his ex-fiancée, his mom blamed her for being difficult. We spend very little time with my in-laws. I suspect there's going to be even less now. You said that you truly like your mother-in-law. Why? She excused domestic violence and ableism. She is not a good person. Why do you feel bad for her? Because she cried? Is crying enough to excuse her behavior? You're not the a-hole for not helping excuse his actions, but I am wondering why you think your mother-in-law is so great. Excellent question. She's always been controlling, but she's sweet and delicate about it, if that makes sense. My husband kept our contact minimal so I'd see her on her best behavior. The only time I didn't was when Todd got arrested and she blamed the woman he slapped. She's difficult, and it was just a slap. We didn't see them for almost 2 years after that, until father-in-law developed cancer. Mother-in-law knew how grossed out we were about her defending Todd, and she apologized profusely, saying she was wrong and that Todd knows she was ashamed of him. My hubby called her apology a load of crap later, but I bought it, I guess. Probably because in my family, if someone apologized, they meant it. But when father-in-law got sick, we reconnected, and now here we are. Let me assure you, though, my tolerance for her is gone for good. I feel like an idiot for falling for it at all. Story 3. Am I the a-hole here for not letting my sister move in after she blew her rent money? So I, 26 female, been living on my own for like 3 years now. I worked hard, saved up, and finally got myself a nice little apartment. Nothing crazy, but it's mine, and honestly, I'm really proud of it. My older sister, 29 female though, has always been pretty bad with money. She spends her paychecks on designer clothes, random trips and nights out, and then she's broke like a week later. I've helped her out a few times before, but after she forgot to pay me back 3 times, I decided I was done. Couple weeks ago, she called me crying, saying she got kicked out of her place because she wasn't paying rent for months and had no savings. Then she asked me if she could stay with me for just a month or 2 till she figured things out. Now here's the thing. I already know how this is going to go. She'd move in, get comfy here, and then keep making excuses to not leave. I told her no, that's not happening. Instead, I said I'd help her find a place and even pay her first month's rent somewhere else to help her out. She freaked out and said I was selfish and heartless for not letting her stay. Then she ran to our mom, who's been blowing my phone nonstop about how I'm a bad sister and how I need to help family. My sister's also been posting stuff online about how people show their true colors when you need them the most. Now I feel kinda bad, but at the same time, I feel like I'm just protecting my own space and sanity. So am I the a-hole here? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Your sister seems incredibly irresponsible. Why should you be forced to put up with it? She's clearly demonstrated that she refuses to pay rent elsewhere. If your mom is so unhappy with your sister's living situation, why doesn't your mom let her move in? Maybe, just maybe, it's because your mother doesn't want to deal with your sister's irresponsible behavior either. So why should you be forced to? Well, the thing is that my mom's boyfriend doesn't like my sister at all, and for some reason I feel like my mom is actually jealous of my sister when she is close to her boyfriend. I might be crazy about that though. Not the a-hole. If your mom is upset, tell her to let her move in. Sadly, that's not possible. I answered why on another comment. If that's not possible for whatever reason, then she can't be mad at you for it. Okay, so I found the reason she can't live with your mom, and that's a sad excuse. What OP wrote, well, the thing is that my mom's boyfriend doesn't like my sister at all, and for some reason I feel like my mom is actually jealous of my sister when she is close to her boyfriend. I might be crazy about that though. That's not a reason, just an excuse. If mom truly cares, she takes in the deadbeat daughter. Sister already burned OP several times, so now comes the consequences she should have learned by effing 29. Thanks to everyone for the kind comments and for opening my eyes that I'm not the snake in the situation, that I shouldn't feel bad too. If things escalate too much, I will share them this post so both of them can open their eyes too. And if they don't, it'll just cut them out of my life, sadly. I'll make sure to post follow-up in the following days after New Year's Eve. Happy holidays to everyone, and thanks again.
Thank you for listening. If you like the video, consider like and subscribe. If you want more stories like these, turn on your notification to receive the latest stories.